Hey everyone, the dough is finally ready. It was rising in the, just under here. I'm gonna uncover it. I put some flour out on the countertop. You kind of need a big space because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this dough out here and roll it. I'm gonna film this in a couple of segments, but it's really important to also flour your rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can get a can, cover it with plastic wrap, and flour that and roll that out, whatever you have. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and take this dough out, uncover this, and it's still there. It rose a little bit up on the sides, and this is gonna take me just a little while. I'm gonna plop this out here, get this dough. Oh, there it is. And we're gonna put it out, and I'm just gonna work on kneading it and punching it down a little bit and folding it back over and doing the same. So let me get going on this and I'll show you what it looks like when I finally roll it out, okay? Come back. Okay, so we're in the phase where I can roll it out. I've kind of shaped it into a rectangle. We do want a shorter side because what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this over on itself. But I'm gonna do about, I don't know, about 16 by 24, I think is what is in the recipe. It says to stretch it out to. So we're gonna make this a nice giant rectangle. Keep on going. When I was first rolling it out, I was constantly flipping it over and putting the flour on the edges because you don't want this to stick. Once we start adding our cinnamon, it gets a little gooey. Gooey, gooey, gooey. All right. Stretch this out, stretch, stretch, stretch. I like rolling dough. It's relaxing. Do you know that at Crossroads back in the day, they used to have the home ec cooking class, and it was super fun. Our first recipe that we would make all the time was monkey bread, which we made in the microwave, but it tasted good. It was also cinnamony, so that's probably why I thought about doing this recipe with you. All right, it's stretched pretty big right now, and I think we're in a good place. So, I'm gonna grab mine. Okay, next step is we have our cinnamon stuff here, our cinnamony buttery nut mixture. I'm gonna scoop this out, and I'm just gonna put probably 2/3 of it right in the middle, which is a little bit more than half for our math kids out there. 2/3 of this right in the middle, and then you could use your spoon. This is kind of like making a giant peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You could use your spoon, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this spatula, and I'm just gonna smooth this all out. It takes a little time, but you just smooth it out. Again, one of the things I love about cooking is that it gives you time to relax, because it takes time and you have to be patient, and then you get to make people in your family very happy because they'll taste this and they'll go, oh my gosh, it's so tasty, super tasty. All right, I'll come back once I have this all stretched out for you. All right, so I've spread out our cinnamon mixture, and this is gonna be a little messy, but it's a little like pizza dough. I'm gonna pick this up and flip it forward. You might get a little flour on you as I do this, so I'm gonna do this quickly. But we're gonna flip this up as much as we can, and there we go. Sealing off the ends. That's the first part of our gooey square. Now, I'm adding flour in again. Woo! Adding flour, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna seal these edges here, and I'm gonna take the next part of the cinnamon mixture, or the last part of it, and do the same process. I'm gonna dump it out here, and then I'm gonna smooth it out again and show you what happens next. So I'm gonna do this, and I'll come right back. All right, so I've spread it out again, and it's not perfect science, so don't worry about it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and fold it on itself one last time. Here we go. I hope this works. Woo! All right, a little messy. Not a big deal because I have some dough here. That's why you have to flour your surface really well. That is going to come over, and I'm gonna just fold this over just a tiny bit here so that this all comes together. And that is our cinnamon bun as it stands right now. And coming back. All right, so we have this going. Again, the whole idea is you're layering these layers of cinnamony goodness in with your dough. That's my dog. So what you're gonna do now is you just smush it out. You don't roll it again. You just kind of smush it out. And you wanna cut this into about 24 pieces, different squares, okay? So the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna go once down the middle with my pizza cutter, because that's the easiest thing to do if you have one. If not, you can use a knife. So I wanna make this into threes over here, thirds. I'm gonna do another one, and another one. I'm gonna do more than 24, I think. And another one, and another one, little edgy ones. And I'm just going to continue cutting like this through and making these little squares. This is how we make the cinnamon squares. It's getting ooey gooey. One more here. I won't cut my hands. Let's try here. It's a little bit doughier over on this side because I folded it over a little bit to cover the cinnamon stuff. All right. Come in here. Okay, so I'm going to use this kitchen spatula and I'm gonna pick these up and put them on a baking pan that has some parchment paper on it. Parchment paper is good because it doesn't stick. If you don't have parchment paper, you can use tin foil, but make sure you spray it down. Or you can use just a regular baking sheet. But again, make sure you spray it down. The worst thing in the world when you bake is when stuff sticks. So make sure you spray it down with either cooking spray or you use butter and lay it out like that. So let me get to work on this and then magically they will appear over here. All right, so we have our squares there. I did not move them over perfectly, and they're gonna grow together, so don't worry about it. The last thing we're gonna do is I've whipped up an egg. In her recipe, she says to put a little egg wash on it. I'm gonna do this very very cautiously. Just put a little bit of egg wash. You beat up the egg. You do this, it's gonna help it get golden brown. All right, so we have our squares there. I did not move them over perfectly, and they're gonna grow together, so don't worry about it. The last thing we're gonna do is I've whipped up an egg. In her recipe, she says to put a little egg wash on it. I'm gonna do this very very cautiously. Just put a little bit of egg wash. You beat up the egg. You do this, it's gonna help it get golden brown. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprinkle with a little bit of cinnamon. That's not in her recipe, but that's in my own, my little twist. Whoa, a little crazy on that one. But it's cinnamon, who doesn't like cinnamon? I know, someone will say they don't like cinnamon. And now we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven. Preheated to 350 degrees. I have dinner thawing on the top. And we're gonna put it in and 25 to 30 minutes. Oh, they're ready finally. And ooh, I wish you had smell-o-vision. It smells delicious. I'm gonna take these out, get them over here, and I'll get them served up for you. And here you go, from our kitchen to yours. Enjoy, everyone. Bye. All right, folks, our dough is finally ready. I'm ready to uncover it. All right, everybody, our dough is ready. It's ready to be uncovered. I put some flour here on my, let me try again.